The college basketball experience Moneyline Mac Top 25 for the week of November 25th edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with our promo code TCESGPN to get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. That is the promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rebet, a new social sports book available in 45 states. Download the Rebet app and use the code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college hoops, college football, NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience. Moneyline Mac Top 25. Just released my Moneyline Mac Top 25 for the week of November 25th. Half of Feast Week is gone, and the big tournaments start up tomorrow. Preview and pick show coming up next year, so stay tuned. Going up live in about 15, 20 minutes. So I want to fire away on my top 25, and then we'll get over to that show. But first off, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight, over here at the College Experience. And what a great time of the year. Feast Week, one of my favorites. Thanksgiving upon us, my favorite holiday. All you do is eat, drink, watch football, watch basketball. What else can you ask for in life in America? So fired up for this week. Can't wait to dive into all this action here in about 20 minutes. But we did have some games. I did have a winning day over on our preview and pick show last night. Games were unbelievable, and we'll recap that as well. I'll kind of recap it here in the top 25 real quick, but let's pay the bills before we dive into the top 25 because we are brought to you by, well, ourselves. Get on over there. The road to 15K is still upon us. Get on over there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/collegeexperience. It is free. It's free. I repeat, it's free. Costs you $0, 3 cents. Hit the button. Help us help you so we can keep bringing you more and more content throughout the college basketball season. And we're also brought to you by ourselves with SGPN app. Get on over there. Download the app in the App Store today. Easy to do so, and it helps you get all the content in one place. So get on over there and download that app today. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Back bigger, better than ever. You can get down on some action over there. Use our promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rebet, available in 45 states. Download the app today. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Rebet, promo code SGPN. Of course, we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use our sign-up code TCESGPN to get a $1,000 in bonus cash. That's the Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And last one, we're brought to you by Rhythm. College football, college hoops, NFL. Download the Rhythm app today. Get over there to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All righty, we paid the bills. Let's dive into the top 25 and chat. Fire away who you want to or who you think is too high, too low. Yes, Tyler, shout out to your Badgers getting it done over the Pitt Panthers, so I did not have to put Pitt on the graphic. Thank you, Tyler, for getting that done. But leading it off here, we'll go reverse order. I will start off with the Wichita shockers in Wichita. I mean, what they did Friday night against St. Louis, very impressive. 5-0 on the year. Paul Mills, margin of victory. I mean, they went to Western Kentucky, game number 1, so they have a nice road win. They beat Northern Iowa, and they've also beat St. Louis on a neutral court by 25. So I cracked them into my top 25, and they are new to this list. Number 24, also new to the list, the Utah State Aggies, also with the big win in Kansas City. So the 2 winners Friday night in Kansas City cracked my top 25. Jared Calhoun doing a hell of a job. He did a hell of a job at Youngstown. Now he's doing a hell of a job out in Logan. They beat Iowa. They've scored about 100 points every single game. They got a big one with the Bonnies down in Florida this week. But Calhoun era is off to a great start, 5-0 in Logan. Number 23, everybody just got done watching this team. Ben McCollum and the Drake Bulldogs. What a weekend they had, beating Miami, FAU, and Vanderbilt. Unbelievable. And honestly, they dominated. 3 double-digit wins in Charleston. Maybe I have them too low now that I'm kind of looking more at it. But for now, I'll put them at 23. But it just kind of shows how good a coach he was at Northwest Missouri State. And, I mean, just an unbelievable job taking over for DeVries. Now they're 6-0 headed into Thanksgiving, and they've already got 3 neutral site games. And what a weekend for the Valley. Maybe this league could have 2 bids. Bradley, Drake, both pretty much take care of business this weekend in their MTEs. So maybe the Valley could sneak 2 teams in after getting jobbed last year on Indiana State. At number 22, we got St. Mary's. St. Mary's, death taxes. Randy Bennett. Everybody thought Aiden Mahaney was leaving. They would take a step back. No, they're 6-0. They beat Nebraska at the Pentagon. They beat good teams at home. Towson, Chattanooga, Akron. They play USC on Thursday on Thanksgiving, so another big test for Randy Bennett and the Gales. But they're 22. They're solid. Number 2 in the WCC for me. At number 21, I got the Xavier Musketeers. Sean Miller and company remain unbeaten. They're sitting at 5-0. Their big win is Wake Forest at home, so it's five home wins. But they've looked really impressive as of late. So I like what I've seen from Xavier, and I had good preseason expectations for me, and they've met those. So I like what I've seen for Xavier. Bounce back year, I thought, at the Cintas Center. So Xavier continues to roll. At number 20, the only team that has 2 losses, it's Baylor, and that's because they played by far the hardest schedule in the country. Gonzaga, Arkansas, St. John's, Tennessee, they split those. Unbelievable win down there in the Bahamas over the Johnnies. And then they look like shit against Tennessee and Gonzaga, but I'm not going to knock them too much for losing top 5 games when they take care of business in all the other 4 games. So give me Baylor at number 20 and a little bit of a projection ranking here as well. At number 19, the Memphis Tigers, they continue to handle business. They're still undefeated. They got a date with UConn tomorrow, so maybe they'll skyrocket up here if they're able to get that done. So I do like what I've seen from Memphis from a defensive side of the basketball, getting it done against San Fran at that Warriors Arena. They won on the road at UNLV, so an impressive resume. Missouri as well, Ohio, an impressive resume so far for Penny and the Memphis Tigers. Moving along, number 18, I got Hail State, baby. 5-0. They won a true road game at SMU, hostile environment. That place was rocking. Come back in the second half. They beat Utah on a neutral floor, even though I don't know if that was really neutral, but nevertheless, 5-0. Hail State looks better offensively. They crack in, and they move up to number 19 for me. Number 17, I got the Indiana Hoosiers. They continue to roll at home. They're finally going to play somebody else outside of Bloomington this week. They'll play Louisville, but they've rolled Greensboro, South Carolina, EIU, Southern India, or SIUE. They've done nothing but handle business, so I will keep them. I've had them between 16 and 20 the whole year. I will keep them at 17 as they head over to Atlantis this week. At number 16, Florida. Florida's the same way. I mean, they've been impressive, 6-0, double-digit wins, good margin of victory in all their games. They have a true road win at Florida State. They blew out the Salukis. They've blown out South Florida, Jacksonville. So the Gators look good under Todd Golden. Obviously, they got the shit going off the floor. We'll see how big a distraction that becomes throughout the year. 15, North Carolina. An interesting team to kind of project because they got wins over Elon American. Nice win on the road at Hawaii. I know Hawaii's not the greatest team in the world, but still, true road win at a mid-major, and sometimes shenanigans can happen at Hawaii. So good job, Carolina, getting it done out there. They head to Maui as well. We'll know more about this team this week. Cincinnati at 14. Cincinnati may be a little too low, to be honest. Cincinnati's looked really impressive, 5-0. Win at Georgia Tech over the weekend by 23. Win at Northern Kentucky as well. They blow out teams at home. Maybe they're a sleeper top 4 team in this Big 12, but the Bearcats sitting there nicely at 14 for me. Number 13, I got on Wisconsin, baby. Great weekend at the Greenbrier. Wins over UCF Pitt. They have a win over Arizona as well. So if you're really going off pure resume, Wisconsin may need to be a little bit higher, but a lot of these top 10 teams, I still have a little bit of my preseason bias baked into it. So on Wisconsin, I think 13 is more than fair. Trevor, let me know if you think it's too high or too low. Buckyball, let's go Wisconsin. Number 12, Iowa State. They haven't played anybody. We're going to find out a lot tomorrow when they play Auburn, but that had been my preseason top 25. They drilled everybody. No reason to move them. But yeah, them and UConn are basically the same handicap. I have, I guess I have Purdue in between them. Just because I said out of respect to UConn, I would not move them out of my top 10 just because they are the back-to-back national champions. Purdue had a solid 10 days. They beat Alabama at home. That was a nice win. They protected Mackey like I thought they would. Then they got drilled at Marquette. I thought they would do that. They're not a good road team. But then they bounced back nicely and beat Marshall. So sitting there at 5-1. The Yale win was a nice win as well. Northern Kentucky as well. Corpus Christi. Purdue at 11. I feel like that is a perfect spot for them right now. UConn, co-sign or repeat everything I just said about Iowa State. Haven't played anybody, but know what we're getting. They got a big one with Memphis tomorrow. I think that's going to be a tougher game than the average person thinks. So give me a UConn at number 10 here on my top 25. Number 9, the Dukies of the Blue Devils of Durham, whatever the hell they're called. They got a nice win at Arizona. And I upgraded them a couple spots here. I think they were at 11 last week. So I moved them up to 9. That was a nice win in a tough atmosphere. Beat Wofford. They had the loss to Kentucky, which is why I have Kentucky a spot ahead of them. Kentucky doesn't have any blemishes on their resume. They've blown everybody out. They have a win over Duke. They're 5-0. So Mark Pope at 5-0. And then I got Duke at number 9. Big one Tuesday night for the Dukies as they play Kansas in Vegas. So a chance here to skyrocket up these rankings if they're able to knock off Bill Self and the Jayhawks. Kentucky as well, cosign, like everything I just said. Nice win over Duke, and they've continued to blow quality mid-majors out. So I think the Kentucky Wildcats at 8 are the perfect spot. Houston at number 7, they have drilled everybody in sight. Hofstra, Louisiana, Jackson State, and then they have the one loss to Auburn, which they held a lead with, 9 or 10 points with 10 minutes to go, blow that lead. So number 7, not overreacting to one loss for the Houston Cougars. And their opponent on Tuesday night is Alabama. And Alabama had a nice week. They beat Illinois. Nice bounce back off the Purdue loss. They have a win over McNeese. They beat Arkansas State. They beat Asheville. So I think the Tide and Houston are right to move up into the top 5 after on Tuesday night. So we got a couple of matchups just in these next 48 hours where I'm going to be able to move this Moneyline Mac top 25 up and down. So yeah, let's go. Number 5, we get into our top 5. I got the Marquette Golden Eagles. What a week for them. What a 10 days for them. Beat Maryland on the road. Maryland's not bad. They're 5-1. They're talented. They beat Purdue as well at home. We talked about that with our Purdue breakdown. And then they go to Atlantis. They beat Georgia in a one-game standalone spot. That was a tough spot coming off that Purdue win. And then we saw what Georgia did today. Georgia beat St. John. So Marquette, Coulter wins. Cam Jones, front-runner National Player of the Year as of November the 25th. Number 4, Tennessee. Tennessee has continued to just roll teams. Rick Barnes and company, 6-0. They destroy Virginia. They blow out Baylor. They've blown out every mid-major. They take care of business, man. That's what Rick Barnes and Tennessee do in November and December. So give me the Vols at number 4. Number 3, I got Kansas. They have a good resume. I don't know how good they are right now. I think they're going to be the best team eventually. But they beat Sparty, they beat Carolina, beat Oakland, Wilmington, Howard. So 5-0. But like I said, them, Duke, Tuesday night. We'll know a lot more about these teams, I think, after Tuesday night. Number 2, I flipped 2-1. I said this on Monday night after the show. Auburn has looked really good. They beat Houston on the neutral site at the Rockets Arena, beat Vermont, beat Kent State, North Alabama. So 3 quality mid-majors. The reason I flipped them, Gonzaga, in my opinion, is the best team in the country as of November the 25th. They have been super impressive, whether it was Baylor by 40, beating San Diego State, which is a hard-ass place to win, on the road by 15, never was in doubt. And then you got UMass Lowell, Arizona State, and Long Beach. And then they got my Mountaineers on Wednesday. So say a prayer for me. So that's my top 25. Let's fire away in the chat. Pulling it up. Did I consider Nebraska? Good question, Tyler. I did consider Nebraska, but I couldn't bump them over St. Mary's because St. Mary's beat them outright. But hell of a win over Creighton. Jay, I don't think Memphis is going to finish in the top 25, but as of right now, they have a top 25 resume with the wins over Missouri and company in the road wins. Jay thinks Tennessee should be in the top 3. I hear what you're saying. I still think Kansas has just as good a resume, and I had them higher in my preseason, so that was kind of my ultimate tiebreaker. Filet, am I taking Auburn over Iowa State? Why would I say this right now when I get the preview and picks show here in about 5 minutes? So make sure you tune in right after this. Trevor's fired up about his Badgers, and I think that's it. Quick one tonight, guys. Marquette, Wisconsin's going to beat Yale. That game's always fantastic, Tyler. And this one's kind of still like this top 25 is still. It's hard to gauge because the schedules are different. We just talked about it with Iowa State and UConn versus some of these other teams that have played really hard schedules. After this week, I think we're going to know a lot more when you have the Kansas Duke game, the Alabama Houston game, Auburn, Iowa State, just all those Maui games. You got all the Maui games. You got all the Atlantis games. You got games in New York. You got games in Vegas. You got games everywhere. California, there's a good MTE as well. Michael asked about Hottie Toddy. They have not played anybody just yet. Their best one's Colorado State. So they're on my next 5 out. Hold on. Let me fire away my next 4 out or next 5 out if I had to say right now. I had Dayton, Oregon, Penn State, Ole Miss, and honestly, UC Irvine and Loyola Chicago because they have quality road wins. So, yeah, those would be my next top 5. But that's all I got, guys. Just want to fire away this quick 20-minute rapid fire top 25. Like I said, coming up next, whoa, too big right there. Coming up next, the preview and pick show is I'm fired up for this episode because the games are getting really good and they start early, which means we got day basketball. Feast week, we got you covered every single night. Reminder, pregame show, 6 o'clock Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. We will not have one on Thursday and Friday because of the holidays. So make sure you turn on all your notifications. And, of course, we will, though, have a preview and picks episode for every night of the week, including on Thanksgiving and including on Black Friday and every other holiday that we'll have games. So we won't take any days off for that one. We will take the pregame show off just because I have obligations. But this has been another edition of Moneyline Mac top 25. It's on your doorstep. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here. Happy Feast Week.